Well, thanks, Jennifer. Yet another hero in water. I'm J. Carl Ganter, Managing Director of Circle of Blue. And it really is amazing, isn't it, that a glass of water holds so much potential. And as Jennifer said, I'm a storyteller, a journalist, and a photographer. And for almost 20 years, Circle of Blue's been deploying journalists to the front lines around the world to report on the mystery and the magic of water and the intersecting crises that it faces. I think we all know that now's the moment when we have to step it up and design water's future, and that's with the urgency and resolve and creativity and hope that we need now. So, what's the one thing that I want to share about water? Well, it's that water is our defining story. Water has determined the story of civilization, whether we thrive or fail. And these are the floodplains of the Nile, with Cairo downstream. And this is where some of the world's earliest economies began, a story defined by water. Water also defines where we build our cities. This is far west China, where many cities rely on precarious flows from nearby mountains. And water defines how and where we grow our food, like the rich Nile floodplain or the imperial and central valleys of California. And when water is scarce, we either move or we find alternative sources with far-reaching consequences. Water is a driver of immigration, stress, and conflict. Families with their children have moved to the favelas of Sao Paulo when their crops fail, and here they've brought their stories with them. They've named the muddy alleyways for the villages that they've left behind. And when wells run dry, farmers like this one near Bangalore turn to raw sewage to grow food, and here he's washing off the smell. But he doesn't eat his own produce. He sends it to Delhi. Well, water's also the story of energy. Whether you're cooling a nuclear power plant in Switzerland or a coal plant in Inner Mongolia, water can be the defining factor. But now let me make a call to action. We keep saying that we need a new narrative for water. Well, actually, it's the oldest narrative in history. When we open our thirsty eyes and look around us, there are water stories through every thread of life. There's not one story, there are infinite stories. But we need to tell these stories better, in ways that connect and ways that resonate with urgency, relevancy, trust, and hope. We also need to act on these stories fast and ask ourselves, what does systems change look like for water? What is our shared compass and a map? What's holding us back? And how do we align moments with momentum powered by story and data and solutions? So how do we design water's future? Because, well, that future is here, and it's here ahead of schedule. But when we tell stories that resonate, that capture both the heart and the mind, we can envision and create the future, and we can create how we thrive. Because when this farmer in Punjab took me by the arm at sunrise, he wanted to show me his wealth in water. It reminded me of this quote from The Little Prince. What makes the desert beautiful is that somewhere it hides a well. And these young women in Rajasthan took me along on their walk through the heat to fetch water. And the moment reminded me that it's essential that with so many grand challenges, we need to make hope visible. We need not just incremental solutions, but systemic solutions that reach across the nexus of food and energy and health and climate and culture. And when we make hope visible, that's when we're the most creative. And that's when our resolve kicks into gear. And so let's go write that story of our water future. We know it's just the beginning, and we know that each of us has a leading role. Now, for an even deeper dive into the mysteries of water, let me hand off to a friend and another fellow of the Explorers Club who's truly exploring water's future, and that's renowned cave diver Jill Heinerth. Cheers, Jill.